Dancing all these tears away. No time for bad love, bad love, bad love. I'm dancing all these fears away. Don't need it.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. Another day, another dollar. Today is Monday, May the 16th of 2022, day 136th of the year, and only 229 days left to go. Anyways, how are you? I hope you had a fantastic weekend, because that's always important as we are hanging and banging and talking about the things that we get to do around here. So we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, so there you go. That's what was going on, going into the multiverse of things as we were hanging and banging, doing all the fun stuff and all that. So did you do anything very exciting over the weekend? Because that's the question. It's always the question as we do come about on these lovely days when we get back inside of this joint. So always trying to figure out what's going on inside of your mundo. So as we are talking, as we are hanging, as we are banging, because that's really the way that it goes about and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's talk about some things that were going on according to the world of the trends. So let's talk about those things so we can get them moving and grooving right away. So starting off from the very top of things, Saturday was National Dance Like a Chicken Day, which I feel like some people do all the time. So I don't know if there needs to be a day in particular for that, but that was a day to be able to celebrate. Also was hashtag Food Shortage Joe was trending on Saturdays as Americans tweeted about the lack of food on shelves. Vogue landed on Twitter's top 10 trends on Saturdays after Melania Trump slammed the publication for putting First Lady Jill Biden on their cover after she, an actual model by trade, never got the opportunity during her stint in the White House. And then bands off our body was trending over the weekend. The trends was hitting as crowds gathered in D.C. to advocate for abortion rights. Sunday was National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Ted Nugent was trending on Sunday after telling Trump supporters to attack Democrats. Yeah, you did hear me correctly there. And then hashtag Billboard Music Awards was trending on Sunday. So just so you can know some things that were going around and about and all that kind of fun stuff. so we can talk about all those fun things that were going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that seems to always be a big portion as we are talking and hanging and doing everything. So if you are new here, let me kind of tell you the layout of the world, the way that we do some things around here. If you want to come out, hang out, and do some stuff with the show, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple process. The process goes like this. You go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you into the multiverse of this stuff right here. So you get that moving and grooving. We'll get you in. We'll get you around and about. That will get you either into our streaming, our messaging service. It will get you into our streaming video service, or it'll get you into our streaming audio service. It'll get you piped in one way, shape, or form. We'll be able to interact with you and see what the hell is going on. We also, during this time, we'll talk about what's going on inside of the world of the news, so you don't have to worry about that. So we'll cover all that information, and then after all that stint of stuff is done, I'll come back and give you the world of messaging of how I think things are going and around and about. And then that kind of sums it up. That kind of does everything inside of our multiverse of stuff as we get to hang and bang as we are doing our things. So if we're going to get this moving and grooving right now, let's get it started with what's going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
And I guess that screen's not going to change.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden says a mass shooting that left 10 people dead in Buffalo, New York was an act of white supremacy. Speaking at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service at the Capitol, Biden confirmed the Justice Department is investigating it as a hate crime.
We must all work together to address the hate that remains a stain on the soul of America.
Most of the victims in Saturday's mass shooting at a supermarket were black, and the alleged gunman is white. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden head to Buffalo tomorrow. The statement says they will join those in the community and grieve the lives lost. One person is dead, 5 others are hurt after a church shooting in Southern California. The Orange County Sheriff's Department said a lone gunman opened fire at the Geneva Presbyterian Church in Laguna Woods. Police say a suspect described as an Asian male is in custody. No word on a motive. Meanwhile, 2 people are dead and at least 3 others are hurt after a mass shooting at a Houston area flea market Sunday afternoon. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says thousands of people were at the flea market when 2 groups got into a fight and started firing shots at each other. No innocent bystanders were injured, according to the sheriff. The price of gas is soaring. Trey Thomas reports.
AAA reports the national average price for regular unleaded jumped over the weekend to $4.48 a gallon. Nowhere is it more expensive than California.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is calling on President Biden to name Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. McConnell told reporters traveling with him in Stockholm on Sunday that designation would lift sovereign immunity protections, shielding Russia from being sued for civil damages. And the head of NATO says Ukraine can win the war with Russia. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told NATO members Sunday that Russia's invasion, launched in February, is not going as planned. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Finland submitted a formal application to join NATO, and its neighbour Sweden intends to do the same. A scorching heatwave sweeping North India, with the capital Delhi recording temperatures over 49 degrees. Boris Johnson's visiting Belfast amid a growing row with the EU over the post-Brexit Northern Ireland Protocol, and China's financial hub of Shanghai is beginning to reopen after weeks of COVID-19 lockdowns.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is recovering after he says he suffered a stroke over the weekend. The Democrat released a statement saying he was admitted to George Washington University Hospital after experiencing lightheadedness and acute neck pain while delivering a speech over the weekend. On Twitter, he posted that he's feeling much better, but he'll cut back his schedule over the next few days. This news comes after Pennsylvania Senate candidate and Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman announced he also suffered a stroke Friday and is hospitalized receiving care. An unlikely friendship is reportedly forming behind bars. R. Kelly and the alleged Brooklyn subway station shooter. Bob Hauer has more.
The New York Daily News reports that Frank James, who's awaiting trial for the mass shooting on the N train April 12th, spends some of his day at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Sunset Park with singer and convicted sexual abuser R. Kelly. They report the two eat together, talk about television shows, and go to rec together. Both are considered high-risk inmates and are being kept in a unit that also hosts government cooperators, according to the Daily News. R. Kelly's expected to be sentenced June 15th. Both may end up with life in prison.
Not taking no for an answer, JetBlue is launching a new effort to take over Spirit Airlines. Rory O'Neill reports.
JetBlue is now attempting a hostile takeover of discount carrier Spirit Airlines. According to the Wall Street Journal, JetBlue will offer $30 cash per share of Spirit stock. That stock was priced at near $17 after Friday's close. Rival Frontier has its own buyout bid for Spirit outstanding, with a vote on that offer slated for next month. Management at both JetBlue and Frontier think a merger with Spirit will help them compete against the big legacy carriers in the U.S.
The Rangers and Flames are the final two teams advancing to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. New York took a 4-3 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Calgary moves into the second round after the Flames' own 3-2 Game 7 win in overtime against the Dallas Stars. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day, making sure they brush their teeth, is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. That is for sure. So let's start getting into the world of the news. Besides, the stuff of what the pros told you, let's get into some of the things that I have seen on my end over here. So taking it from the top as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff, let's just start going right away into this world of the multiverse world right away. Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter has hit, we'll say a weird snag. Musk tweeted that his team is investigating just how many Twitter accounts are bots and are not only used to produce spam tweets. Twitter has claimed that these accounts represent less than 5% of its users, but Musk said that on Twitter he would pull random samples of 100 accounts that follow Twitter's own Twitter account and looked into how many fit the bill to do the analysis. But Musk later said that Twitter's legal department accused him of violating a non-disclosure agreement surrounding the acquisition by announcing the method to determine how many accounts are fake. So the whole operation remains in flux, but Musk has also remains that he is committed to the acquisition. So what do you think about it? Because you are aware, because the moment that he did go about and say something along those lines, their Stockiyaki didn't do too well because people were like, what the hell's going on now that he has said this? I mean, and it's a good question. It's a good question to come up and come about. So I mean, I don't hang out on Twitter a lot, to be honest with you. So I don't know, which ones are reals, which ones are fake, and all that kind of fun stuff. I mean, I couldn't even look at one and probably even tell you on what it looked like. Anyways, let's continue talking. A shooting in Milwaukee. At least 20 people were shot in Milwaukee during the late hours on Friday. So far, no deaths have been reported. In one incident, at least 17 were shot just blocks from the Fiserv Forum, where many were celebrating the lucky win by the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks officially canceled a watch party on Sunday after that, so there you go. Interesting times, that's what would take place. Also, as you heard reference a little bit earlier, I'll talk about it once again. Shooting in Buffalo, at least 10 are dead and 3 others wounded following a shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. The 18-year-old gunman was arrested at the scene. A manifesto believed to be written by the suspect, his racial motivations for the shooting, which primarily took the lives of black shoppers. In the manifesto, the gunman describes himself as a former communist turned authoritarian leftist. Law enforcement say that that they will prosecute this as a hate crime. On Sunday, the Washington Post reported that the shooter was investigated last year by the New York State Police after he had threatening statements of things that he had said in his high school. So, what do you think about this? Because it's definitely it's something a little. We'll say that it's startling. I mean, it's one of those things that you hear something along these lines, and there's a lot of questions that come about. There's a lot of things of what caused this person to go this far in regards of what was going on. I mean, of course, it is a question to be brought up as we are talking. Anyways, let's continue going through some other things that are going on inside of the world. By the way, President Joe Biden has announced plans to visit Buffalo tomorrow to grieve with the community when 6 people. So that's what he's going to be doing tomorrow. Inside of there. Also shooting in Houston, 2 groups of people started shooting each other at a flea market near Houston on Sunday afternoon, leaving 2 dead And at least at the scene, and 3 others rushed to the hospital. Houston NBC's TV affiliate reports that there was only those involved with the group that were killed or injured. So there you go. A shooting in Los Angeles also took place over the weekend. Let's talk about this. One person is dead and another 5 wounded. Another 5 are wounded after a shooting at a church in Orange County, California, about 45 minutes outside of Los Angeles. The wounded were critical condition of Sunday's evening. Fox LA reports that the suspect is a man in his 60s who was subdued by a heroic action of the churchgoers. I mean, think about this real quick. And I mean, here's the gig. As we are talking, it's like, at what point do you think that we need to have metal detectors everywhere? It seems like in that particular regards. And what do you think about this one, especially when it comes to a church aspect? I mean, one of the places that you would think, or at least feel like you might be one of the safest places on the planet, doesn't seem to be so much anymore.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, a small town in Kilo, Wisconsin has gotten some national attention after the school district there filed a harassment lawsuit against 3 middle schoolers who they say called a classmate by the wrong pronoun. The apparent victim goes by they, but one mother of the accused says that her kids just don't understand it. She told the local ABC affiliate that the pronoun they is plural and it shouldn't make sense to them. The Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty is representing the family and seeking to drop the suit. So hold on, I want to make sure that I get this right. So, has gotten national attention after the school district they filed a harassment lawsuit against 3 middle schoolers who they say called the classmate by the wrong pronouns. What's your opinion on this one? Because I'm very interested in this. I really am, because I would love to have a better understanding of they, them, he, him, and she, her. It's. I don't know. I mean, how do you make that transition, especially if you're in middle school, in regards to being able to talk about it? And then there's a lawsuit. I mean, I'm slightly confused on the whole thing. And it looks like the people on, call-in radio are confused too. I don't know. I think this might be a subject not for me to talk about.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, in Southwest England, in the county of Cornwall, is a little hamlet called Vogue, just like the magazine. But there is a little pub that's called at the Star Inn at Vogue. Turns out folks of the magazine didn't like another business using its name. They sent a letter to the owners of the pub demanding he change its name, lest patrons confuse his business with the international fashion conglomerate. It's as stupid as it sounds. And for the owner, a man that's named Mark Graham, he told the snobs in London to pound sand. In a local TV interview, he said there's always too much case of the big boys trying to stomp on the little boys. And as soon as I realized that they were trying to do, I went, you're not having me, my handsome. Graham responded to his own letter assuring the editors that they didn't seek permission from the town to use the name when they opened their shop back in 1918. And it was enough to get the magazine to relent, which admitted that their initial letter was an overreach. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of an interesting one. I mean, just think about it. Okay, you can't use the name because it's the name of a magazine. And I mean, do you not understand how trademarks work? And depending on how the trademark is actually listed, I mean, it's kind of a weird one for sure when you really start thinking about it in the grand scheme of things. So there you go. Anyways, I think it's time to bring in some John Smalls and let him tell us about the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, May 16th, 2022. Equities closed below a key level last week despite a strong rebound Friday. The move was driven by the belief the FOMC had lost control of the economy and that inflation will continue to run rampant. The S&P 500 broke through the 4,100 level in anticipation of the CPI and PPI data, then accelerated to below the 4,000 mark in their wake. If the market is not able to regain support at that level this week, the odds of a much deeper decline in equity prices will grow. This week could be a tough one for the markets, with earnings reports from a number of important retailers including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's. Together, they are the market leaders in regards to consumer spending and will be a telling indication of the state of the consumer. If they give poor reports or worse, poor guidance, the market sell-off is sure to worsen. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the world of the market, because it is important for us to know this. Anyways, let's talk about some completely unrelated news. Former First Lady Melania Trump called out Vogue in an interview with Fox News over the weekend. They're biased and they just likes and dislikes, and it's so obvious, she said. She noted that the First Lady Jill Biden got a cover, as did Kamala Harris, and I guess she's upset that she did not get one during her time frame after she being a former model. I mean, after somebody retires from modeling, you don't call them a model. I mean, I don't know. This is why I don't get hung up on what I do. Like when some people go, you're on the radio. No, I'm just me, and this is part of what I do. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing on what people do and don't do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sure you get it. So let's continue talking about some other stuff, because I'm going to go down a rabbit hole that I'm sure that you and I both don't want to go down as we are talking. Anyways, want to go out for a beer and only watch women's sports? Well, now you can. The Sports Bra, not a typo, in Portland, Oregon, offers just that and has become a popular LGBT hangout, especially for lesbians, NBC News reports. The owner says that banks weren't keen on the startup loan, so instead she turned to Kickstarter, where she crowdfunded more than $100,000 over the course of a month. So, yeah. And here's the fun part, and I'll tell you this. I used to go to Portland, Oregon quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if I should admit this. I stayed at one particular hotel so frequently that I got a personalized card from the whole staff of the hotel, because I stayed there the whole time, and every employee inside of the hotel signed the damn thing. I mean, I really appreciate the gesture, but that just told me that I was traveling way too much at the time. But per capita, Portland, Oregon has more strip joints than any other place in the U.S. per capita. So that's something to think about. So think about this. So the Sports Bra in Portland, Oregon just offers that, which is, you want to have beer and watch women's sports. So there you go. I guess, that's some concepts. And it's women's sports. Because think about it. There are all kinds of sports bars that are out there right now that are, just all related to men's sports. I have to tell you, it's kind of amazing. Talking about this, I was legitimately at a theme park over the weekend, one of the pretty big ones. It's almost like the size of a universe, but we'll leave that there. And there was somebody that was standing in line because I had to go to guest services, blah, 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 blah stuff. And there was somebody who was standing in line that wanted a refund. Yes, a refund for their parking, because they went to a bar and the bar was not showing the game that they wanted to see. Like, really? I mean, like, that's something you can get a refund for your parking for? And hey, I will tell you, the people at this magical universe place issued the refund. Because, customer service is super important. So there you go. Anyways, Apple is officially out of the music player only business. It sells out its remaining stock of iPod Touches, which last got an update back in 2019. After that, they're assuming that you'll have an iPhone, an iPad, a watch, or a Mac to listen to music. So I guess if you are looking for that antique, make sure that you keep it in that box, because you know how these things go. If it gets any kind of the value that the Apple II got at some point, it might make it a little bit interesting for sure, as we are talking and hanging and banging and doing all that kind of fun stuff that we tend to do around here. That is for sure. Anyways, I think it's close enough for that time for us to do that thing that we call the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, so this one this morning, as we are talking and doing all the fun stuff and doing all the things that we need to do, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because I think it's going to be one of those weird ones. And if you paid close attention to the titling this morning, and, you know, I don't know why I get hung up on this, because I really just want you to listen. And when you listen to radio, you normally don't care what the title of the show is, besides the actual program, but not what the title of what is the main subject. But if you are listening to the podcast, or if you are watching on the streamer, you might have noticed that this one's called Safety Delayed Choice Experiment. And yes, I am sure that if you wonder for a moment, you might start saying, have you lost your mind? And I get it. I get where some of the confusion might come about, and where some of those questions might happen, which I get. I understand. It makes sense to me. But let me give some brief explanations on what I'm talking about here. So think about this real quick. Think about the choices that we look at inside of the world of the things that we do. And the interesting part is the delayed choice experiment. There's so many different papers that are out there that you can take a look at in regards of this. But isn't it interesting that we take a look at choices that people have made and we don't know if they're good or if they're bad until they are actually measured? Let's do that again. We don't know if their choices are good or bad until they're actually measured. Now, think about this for just a brief moment as I say this. Because until we have a form of measurement, we don't know if it was a good thing or if it was a bad thing or if it was a right thing. And think about it. How often do you have something that's going on inside of your organization that you think that everything's just going grand? Things are running well. People are doing the things the way that they need to be done, but something goes wrong. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, we want to do an investigation of all these people that had to make these decisions before we got to this point. So to an extent, it is a delayed choice experiment because you never cared about this before. So at some point, where it can get really freaky when you start thinking about it, is some choices that were done in the past are actually impacting your present and potentially your future. Because remember, when you're going to do this test on this thing, you're doing the test in the future or right there in that present moment, but those results are not, because it's not measured until then, you're not really going to be able to figure some of this stuff out. So sometimes we have to go take a look at some of the choices that were done previously, and we don't know if they were good or bad, but how do they impact our system? Now, you might be sitting there also going, well, why are we talking about this? And that's a very good point. Why are we bringing this up today? Because we have this terrible habit, and I will say we, and let's reference this on to me for a moment. We have this terrible habit, or I have this terrible habit, that when something goes wrong, I have this thing that I do where I will run out and then all of a sudden try to see how many times did we have the same issue occur before? How many times did the same thing happen previously and nobody caught this strange anomaly? And I will tell you, with the people that I get to interact with, it seems like this is a more common practice than not. But when we start looking at this and start going through these safety delayed choice experiments, do you start wondering, does this mean that we need to do more things to observe what is going on inside of the organization? Because here's the thing. Nothing really is happening until you're measuring it, until somebody's observing it. Think about this for a second. Because if you're going through your normal portions of the day and you're doing this and you're doing that, if I hit this button on this board 100 times and I am not counting it, it's still happening, but nobody's keeping track of how many times I've done that. Not even the system's keeping track of it, but it's not measured. So nobody really cares at that point until something has happened. And it's the same thing inside of our systems. So when people start asking me about doing, let's go do some observations, let's go do some reports, do you deem those things as a good thing or a bad thing? Because I know a lot of people that go, oh no, observations are a waste of time. I know some people that say, no, the observations are the greatest things that we can do. But I look at it and go, what is the good, the bad, and the ugly? There's so many different things that happen with observations, good and bad, depending on what standpoint you stand at. How do you look at it? Because here's the thing. As we take a look at any experiment that we want to do, as we take a look at any of the stuff that's going on out there, until it is measured, it doesn't change anything. And think about this. Because if you think that safety 1 is great, or if you think safety 2 is great, you didn't think about this or how these things applied until somebody measured what was done wrong or accurately in one format or the other. But it had to be measured first before it was actually done. No matter how that test looks. Now, listen, I will sit here and tell you, some people will go, what in the freak are you talking about? And how is this pie in the sky stuff? It's not pie in the sky stuff. It's stuff to rationally think about as you're going through this format. A lot of the stuff that we do has to be measured. And that's how we realize the impact on what's going on. Now, it can be done measuring in real time, or it could be the delayed choice experiment. If you take a look in stuff in retrospect, well, it's easily predictable. That's going to be one thing. But the other portion that takes place is that you're looking at it from a past tense, and then all of a sudden, now we're taking a look at how all that data works. And I know last week we spoke a lot about data science. We spoke a lot about what was going on with the delayed formats and predictive software and all that kind of stuff, which I believe me, the moment that I get a hold of something that can predict my future, I would love to know more, because that's always fun. But that's the stuff. How do you look at this? How do you look at surveys? How do you look at observations? What do you take a look at when you're going through all of this? How do you look at this format? Do you look at this and go, okay, safety delayed choice experiment sounds a little bit too off my rocker? I get it. But at the end of the day, think about this. Is it measured prior, or does nothing happen until an observer observes? I know, kind of a weird one today, but just think about it for a bit.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In 96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in 09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Dancing all these tears away. No time for bad love, bad love, bad love. I'm dancing all these fears away. Don't need you.
Oh, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Bad Love. Oh, yeah, that's what we're about here. This is Waycap featuring Emmy. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. We would like to thank Waycap and Emmy for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show.
No time for bad love, bad love, bad love.
Yeah, don't worry. If you come over to Radio Big at the top of the hour, we'll play that. We'll play it all the way through without me talking over it. Okay, so there you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour, and let's start talking real quick about some things that are going on. But before we get into that, a couple of things. Number one, Jim Posel has contacted us and has said that he has a reason, or that he is, well, matter of fact, he referenced that he is going to Portland, Oregon. Laugh out loud is what he referenced. I will put my spin on it. Now he has a reason to go to Portland, Oregon. So there you go. But let me tell you real quick some very important stuff that I like to share. and I think it's always important to talk about. And that's about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people from your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. I think it's important for us to talk about this, not sometime, but all of the time, just for us to know that, you can do a couple of different things inside of there in regard to being able to help out, or if you're looking for the information yourself. If you want to, you can advocate for suicide prevention as well. Even find out about what they have going on for Project 2025. Yep. All you have to do, like I said, is go to afsp.org. Anyway, let's continue moving and grooving with some other things that are going on inside of this world of ours. Let me tell you about this because I didn't tell you when we first started. Let me tell you about the top 5 movies at the box office. At number 5 over the weekend was Everything Everywhere All at Once with $3.3 million. At number 4 was Firestarter, which was new, $3.8 million. That one's also available on Peacock, if I remember correctly. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was at $4.5 million. The Bad Guys, $6.8 million. And Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness made $61 million over the weekend. So just in case if you're looking for some stuff on what was going on inside of the world of the movies, there you go. That is what is going on right there. What else do we have going on? Let's talk about this. I guess let's talk about everything that's going on, and we'll start it off with what some people might want to talk about and what some people might not want to talk about. So let's do it anyways. Baby brain. Yeah, let's talk about this. I'm sure that I'm not the only person who ever said that kids are making me lose my mind. Okay, now, well, it turns out that science is backing up. Rearing 3 or more children may spur the onset of cognitive decline or dementia later in life, according to a new study from Columbia University Aging Center. The scientists have found that 3 or more kids versus 2 children have a negative effect on the late life conditions, the equivalent of being a 6.2 years older. The study found that additional children incur considerably more financial costs on their parents, thus reducing families' incomes and standard of living, which in turn causes worries and uncertainties that could contribute to cognitive deterioration. Having additional children also curbs women's participation in the workforce, and professional work improves cognitive functions among men and women, the study said. On a positive side, having more kids reduces the risk of social isolation for their parents, a situation that can protect against cognitive decline. Experts say that the entire extent of your social life for 15 years consists of talking with other parents at soccer games, hockey games, dance recitals, parades, school plays, outside the principal's office, just in case. You'll also notice that the study wasn't reported on the news because it's not news to anyone who has 3 or more kids. So there you go. So now, great. We might be talking about something today that might encourage people not to want to have more children. And, I don't know if we're all about that. That's for sure. That is for sure.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. News of the weird, the early version here. Here we go. A retired Indian couple is suing a son and daughter-in-law, demanding that they produce a grandchild within a year or pay them 50 million rupees, or $675,000. Sanjeev Prasad said that it was an emotional and a sensitive issue for him and his wife, Sadhana, and they cannot wait any longer. Prasad said that he and his wife spent his life earnings on his son's education to become a pilot and arranged for him to get married 6 years ago, but his son and daughter-in-law have an attitude that they don't think about us. Let's just sit down and consider who else might be only thinking of themselves. A 19-year-old Florida woman who fled from a police in the Florida Keys on Thursday told the deputy who caught up to her that she was getting arrested was on her bucket list. The cops spotted the woman's vehicle driving recklessly before 8 a.m. He turned on his lights and sirens, but the car did not immediately stop before she was taken to jail. The woman said that she was that getting arrested was on her bucket list since high school. She was charged with fleeing and eluding a police. I didn't need to mention that this happened in Florida, did I? I mean, I know that when I talk about my local state, there's always some interesting things to talk about as we are always going around and about and all that kind of fun stuff as we are talking here. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things because there is always some stuff to talk about on what is going on inside of the world here. Going into some more serious news real quick. A 9-year-old girl found dead in Brooklyn apartment. Police say that they found a dead Brooklyn girl in a Brooklyn apartment on Sunday afternoon, had trauma to her body. Neighbors say that they saw Shalom Gafar walking to school with her sister every day and always felt something wasn't quite right.
The girls were very polite, very well-mannered. I feel bad because the mom was kind of a nightmare. She was always yelling at them.
Shalom was found in her bedroom in the Crown Height building after the store owners at the bottom floor complained to the police of a foul odor. It was not clear how long she was dead. Cops are questioning the girl's mother. The medical examiner will determine a cause of death extremely shortly, is based on what they are saying. What else is going on? Let's see. The country music legend Naomi Judd was remembered on Sunday. Michael Kastner has more information.
A celebration of life was held at Nashville's Ryman Auditorium. Husband Larry Strickland and daughters Ashley and Winona Judd were joined by an array of artists and officials last night for the Naomi Judd A River of Time celebration. Billboard magazine says Winona was honest about her troubled relationship with her mother, saying, "You share a bus with your mother and see how that goes." The event was shown commercial-free on CMT. Naomi took her own life April 30th. She was 76 years old. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thank you, Michael Kastner, for that information. As we are always talking about our friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, if you are struggling, don't hesitate about going to their website to find out more information. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world real quick. Let's take a look. I don't even know how to transition to this one, so let's just do it. Let's just go into the Motivation Minute and have some Johnny Smalls come in real quick.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Stuart. Albert Schweitzer said, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us." I love this. I try to do this as often as possible. It's better to be a candle that helps light someone else's candle rather than blowing out their candle completely. I've tried to be very cognizant of this when I go into stores lately who are short-staffed right now. Even if you don't have the best experience, remember, these people are the ones who showed up. Please be good to them. Show them a little grace. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by LSMorgan.com. Sometimes we find ourselves in a place where we want to improve a slow metabolism. This is where the concept of G Flux or energy flux comes into place. The effect of G Flux is demonstrated in the following study published in Journal of Clinical Nutrition. It analyzed data from two groups. The first group was told to reduce their calories and stay sedentary. The second group increased both caloric intake and expenditure by 500 calories. Despite both groups consuming the amount of calories equal to what they were spending, or zero net sum, only after 4 days, the second group showed higher resting metabolic rate, better nutrient partitioning, and better activated parasympathetic nervous system, which activates hormones that stimulate weight loss. This is how G Flux helps to repair metabolism. For additional resources, check out alessamorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, let's get back into it. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and banging and talking about all the interesting stuff that is going on inside of this lovely world. That is for sure. So let's continue talking. Taking a look around. Let's jump a little bit and take a gander here. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because those things are always important. Back in 2019, the final episode of the sitcom The Big Bang Theory airs. The show starring the people that were on there ran for 12 seasons. So there you go. If it was important to you, it ran 3 years ago. That was the last episode. 3 years ago. There you go. Big Bang Theory. Just for you. So what else was going on? Let's talk about some birthdays. Mile Heiser turns 28 today. Kristen Maldonado, 30. Thomas Brody Sangster turns 32. Megan Fox turns 36. Drew Roy, 36. Wells Adam, 38. Nancy Aram turns 39. Joseph Morgan, 41. Tori Spelling, 49. Tucker Carlson turns 53 today. Janet Jackson turns 56. Christy Nalvik turns 57. Pierce Bronson turns 69. And Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo, 78. I didn't know that. Yeah, he turned 78 today. So there you go. That's some things. If you're looking at some reasons to celebrate today, I got some of those for you. Honor our elder LGBTQ Day. National Biographers Day, National Corey St. Jacques Day, National Love a Tree Day. That sounds a little bit too intimate for me. National Piercing Day, National Sea Monkey Day, Drawing Day, International Virtual Assistant Day, and International Day of Light, because it's the God of Light inside. Yeah, that's a Danzig song, just in case. So 57 minutes past the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big. If you want to come and hang out with me as we get to do the things that we do over there, you have two ways to get there. You can go there through TuneIn Radio. Just go to tunein.com and look for Radio Big, and that will get you moving and grooving through that. Or you can just go to radiobig.fm and that will get you moving as well. Anyway, so let's talk about some things real quick. If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. Well, to be frank with you, I had a chance to change my name. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What is the boldest or strangest thing you've ever done out of impulse? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question: in a survey, this food was found to be one of people's least likely to say that they hate. What was it? French fries. You know, that's one of the least items that people hate. Actually, a lot of people tend to enjoy the fries of the French. If you're looking for that, you know, those things that were deemed freedom fries for a period of time. So anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively here on radiobig.fm and safetyfm.com. So thanks for taking a listen. If you want to hang out with the Safety FM side of the house, you're more than welcome on doing that, or the radiobig.fm side of the house, you're more than welcome on doing either or. Both stations do have apps, just in case if you are looking for that. Radio Big can be found, like I said, on TuneIn. And if you're looking for the Safety FM one, well, Safety FM is located right there on the Apple Store and on the Google Play Store, so easy enough. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we could not do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Think about that. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
dancing all these tears away. No time for bad love, bad love, bad love. I'm dancing all these fears away. Don't need it.